Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video, and welcome to my first video on this channel, Secondary Plays. Now, I'm currently on Jump Slash, and I've actually been playing this for quite a while now, and today I'm going to be trying to make a new Jump Slash level, and I'm going to hope that it gets rated, so I'm actually going to be trying to make this look nice, and the best that I possibly can, to the best of my own ability. Now, I've never actually made a rated Jump Slash level before, so this is going to be a first. I'm going to be sharing with you guys my journey along the way, and yeah, let's get into it. So, on Jump Slash, and let's get into the editor. So, the level is in here, if I go to create, and then here is, so ignore all of these are like star position levels and stuff, and other scrap. Got 387. So, Neon Travel, if we go into it, got this long Cosmic Dreamer, it's called Neon Travel, hoping to be an XL level, about 2.5 minutes long. So guys, I'll just put in a description here, my first actual level, hope you enjoyed. Now, guys, I've actually never made a proper decorated level. I mean, I have, but it's not rating worthy, like, not at all. So I'm actually going to be working on this one properly. So let's go into the editor and let's see what we've done so far. So currently, I've got this. It's a nice little block design. We've got a nice outline here with the shade here. Now these blocks up here are I'm actually going to reposition first. I'm going to go to half and bring it down. Now, normally, if I play the level, I did this to fix that bit there, appearing like that. But, what we can do is, we can go into here, we can get this, we can go up, and then up, and you actually can't see this, but these are blocks that are making the layout of the level. So, what we're gonna, so that's actually not done. What have I just done? So, if I just go into here and make this visible real quick. So let's just put this there. So it needs to go a quarter down. Let's go half. Maybe, oh, actually it's one. Like that. And then here, go up. And that's all fixed. There we go. So now I can select all of this by swiping it onto it. And then group, extra, and hide. And now that's completely invisible. So now if I go on to group 1 where we've got this outer layer, so what I've got is this outer line, which if I go into create and lines, you guys can see here, if I go into here, I've used this one here, which is this outer line, and it's a bit lighter than my dark inside, and I've also got a shadow here to add some depth. And it looks quite nice, but we've also got some stuff up here that we need to sort out. So we've got this going up. So now let's add the outer line going up as well. So let's do this like that. And then let's add this going in as well. Like that. And then the shadow here. Very important. And then we can do the same thing over here. We can bring it up. We can bring this here and fill it in. Then we've got the outer line, which needs to go up like that. And like that. And then the layout here, bring it up so that you can't collide with it. I can bring it up and now I can't collide, and it is a nice design. So now what I want to do here is, because I've got this so far, so what we can do is I can select this, I can bring it over there, and then I can bring this and bring it over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this to group 1, and I'm going to add this to group 2, and then what we can do is I can add let's say here, and move group 1 x20 across 5 seconds, and I can do the same for group 2, but minus 20. So let's see how that turns out. That's pretty cool. But now I'm going to move this down here so that it moves straight away, adding a nice effect. Now, what I want slightly is if I go into a quarter, I can bring this down a quarter. I can bring this up a quarter. And then now I'm going to move this one here. Now this one's controlling this one here. So that's going to move 20 and down 7.5. That's actually going to move it up, so minus 7.5. So that's actually brought it down though, so I want to bring it up 7.5. Can't do that. What happens if I do that? Let's just do 7. Actually, let's do 8. Let's round it. So that's 8. And then let's move on to this one and do negative 8. We'll see how that turns out. So that's actually a nice moving effect. And now I want this to be a lot slower though, because it looks a bit fast. So I can move this to 10 seconds. A nice moving effect. Adds to the difficulty. So it's actually quite open. I think I might make this like a 9-star travel level. And it's going to be a couple minutes long, like maybe 2 minutes. It's only got 5 seconds of gameplay though. So that's actually not that good. That is impossible. That's good. What about this? If I go here, that is impossible as well. That's good. So what we can do now is we can add. Now I don't want to do too much repetition, so I'm gonna move down here. I'm gonna do that and that, and then I'm gonna move that there, and this is gonna be a nice little blot design. I'm gonna select all of this, and I'm gonna set the color to be group 6. So we'll save that up there, and then on layer 2, I'm gonna select this. I'm gonna bring it in and just fill the gaps like that. And then on layer 3, I'm gonna add the glow, and let's bring it down like that. And then let's bring the special glow. If I bring it down and then across like that, that looks nice. And then there's nothing on layer 4, so that's nice. So now we've got that. Then layer 0. Now, what I'm going to do, guys, layer 0 is going to be my layout layer. So I've got the spikes on layer 2, and then layer 0. So now I'm going to go into here. Let's do like a small spike. We don't want to do too much. So now we need to bring this into the editor and move half down. Not half, maybe a quarter. Yeah, it's a quarter. I wonder how I actually did that. Maybe it's probably just that. Maybe. What would happen if I did that? I brought it down by half, or I just did it. That's better. So I'm gonna delete this. Then I'm gonna put this there. Let's move it down by 5, like that, and that actually looks better. So like that. It's not going to be too hard. It might end up being a demon. I mean, I don't know what I want this to end up being. So now, because that is quite tight, I'm going to select all of this. I'm going to group that to 3. And then I'm going to group this to 4. And then we can duplicate this and move this here. So let's sort out the top one first. So the top one is for 3, so that's this one here. Then I want this to move 0x, and then up by 10. Maybe let's try 5 to start with. And then this one can go to 4. Let's go to -5. On move speed will be 5. Let's try 5. We can adjust this. I can adjust this if I need to. If I think 5 is too quick or slow. Let's see how that looks at the moment. Okay, so that's the problem. This is moving 0. This is moving -20. That was why it looked a bit weird. So now let's move it up. Looks nice. Now that's possible. So now I can make this 10 because I think that might be better. Like a bit easier. And then like this. But this has to be -10 because otherwise that does nothing to the difficulty. Just brings it up. And that looks nice. So if I go into speed hat and negative and like 0.7, and then let's just show you guys here. So that moves up slowly, and that looks nice. So that is pretty good, I'd say. But I think maybe I want this to be a bit more open than that. Because if I turn off speed hat, that's a bit tight for my lights. So let's move this by 15 and 15. Or maybe this can... Actually, let's just move this back to... Yes, let's leave it at 15. So now we can change the ease in to be sign out. And this can also be sign out. And it's one of the last ones here. So I know how far down I have to click. So that is nice. But now if we do that, I need to select them both and make that a 10-second move in, because that's a bit rapid. So let's see how that turns out. Doesn't look the best. I'm pretty sure sign does have... I think there's no easing speed, but it's just about move time. So let's move these both to 7. Let's move down to 7 as well. I don't actually know. I'll probably just leave it at that. So let's try exponential. Exponential out. That's really fast though. So now I need to up this to something very big. 10 seconds won't make too much difference. Let's move this one to 10. And this one back to 10. This is a lot of trial and error, guys, by the way. This is a lot of trial and error to make this look nice. But then I need this speed to be 15, maybe. Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna leave that like that. And that's a good start for my decoration. I'm actually going to be decorating as I go, guys, because this is actually going to be a bit better for me. So guys, let's have a look at the sun a bit. So I think from the sun, I think we should stay on ship for a bit longer. So about here or something, we should put another game mode in. So let's do wave, for example. Maybe a bit over, because I want this to sync to the sun. How long even is this song? Let's have a look, guys. So, save and exit. Cosmic Dreamer here, it doesn't actually tell me, which is a bit annoying. I thought it would tell me. So the song. Okay, so guys, I've just found out the song is actually 3 minutes long. So that's going to be quite good for a XL level like this level. So now let's have a quick look at the passage to get here. So this is going... This appears on 0, that's good. So now we need a bit of a passage. Maybe we could just reuse these. Let's do that. And then let's do that. Maybe let's move this about here. And let's position this about there. Down. And then we'll leave it about there. That's not bad. So now what we want to do is select this. That can be group 5. And this can be group 6. Let's move this over here. And this over there for a bit of change, because I don't want this to be too repetitive. That's on 5. And this has to move -8 and 20. This has to move 8 and 20. There we go. Like that. So what we can do is I can move this down a bit. Yeah, that works. Or maybe I can move this down a bit more. And then... Or I can change this to be an upside down portal. Like that. And that puts me upside down. Not bad. So what we can do now is we can do a bit of a zoom here. So zoom, I can do zoom in to about that. So what does that look like zoomed in? Really weird. So what we can do as well is I can do this time for a minute. So let's do ease out to 0.9. Let's see how that looks. Interesting. So I want this actually to be quicker. 0.5. Not sure. 0.75 maybe. Why does 1 second actually look better? Let's have a look at 1. Maybe. Move this to just 1. Actually, this one here can go to 0.8. Let's move. One 1.2, sorry. Like that. That looks nice. And then is there any gaps I need to fill? Yes, there are. So this here, I'm going to bring it up by 1. And this one here, up by 1. Nice. And now it is possible to go up above. So I'm actually going to put a saw blade. So I'm going to move these here to be in line with that. Move this up. And then let's put a saw blade here. So this is on group 1. That's not bad. So now we can put in a saw. If I can find it. Yeah, it's just here. So let's do up by half. Let's do 1. And now it moves with it. So I'm gonna do up like that. And then I'm going to set the colour of this to be white. Actually, this can go to object colour, and this can go to white. Nice. I like the red and white style. This is going to be a nice little Christmas level, perhaps. Maybe this will finish being a Christmas finish as a Christmas level. I'm not actually sure though, because Christmas level, like Christmas is in 5 days from now, so it's actually quite close. So that, if I want to do that, am I on slow? Yes, I am. Wow, it feels a bit fast though. So that is now impossible. To how did I slide that? That needs to be fixed. So let's do here. That's in group 2. So what we need is that. Yeah, let's do that. So let's scale Y like that, and then group 2. There we go. Now I can't go underneath it. Very nice. But I think I should probably replace this for the actual invisible one. There we go. And that can go to group 2. There we go. Not bad. Now I can't go underneath it. So if I jet this in play mode, so let's put this in as hide, so that we can't see it. It's causing it impossible to go underneath. So that's nice. So now we're now forced to go on the main route and then through there. What about going above? Do I want that to be a bin, or do I want that to be a coin? Nah, unfortunately I'm just going to make that impossible. So if I go into saw blades and this, let's make this color 2. I'm going to put that on group 7. And then here, let's do this. So group 7, like that. And move Y. So move X is going to go 20, 10. Move Y 8. So now you can't go. Yeah, it's actually on the sun though. So let's change this. That needs to go 18. Now it's going. So let's bring that down to like 12. Move X 20. Make this a bit slower. So 5 seconds. And then move X 12. Let's see how that looks. Not bad. I'm going to leave that like that. So that is a good start. So now I'm forced to go on the route. Not bad. So now I can't go up there. I'm forced to go on the route down this way. But what about that though? That's a bit of a problem. So if I go like this, so that is what it looks like here. So I think I'm going to move this to be there, because that's the position at the time. So now I'm actually forced to go in here. That doesn't move. That's interesting. So this is on group 6. Now it's going to move. Very nice. And that's very good. So what we need is some upside down movement as well. and we can do some of that. So now what we want here is, let's see, what do I want to add to this section? Don't think I want to add too much. I might just add maybe a low detail mode then. Don't think it's going to be too much of a problem though. Let's see, so if I go into hmm, okay, so let's go on to an editor layer. So this is the decoration layer, and I won't be able to add decoration to that. Like this is the outline layer. I can't do outlines to that. Actually, let's have a look. Is there a circle in here? Nah, there's no circle here. That's unfortunate. No, put a circle in though. No. What about this? So this is the fill-in layer. This is the shadow layer. So I'm actually going to add a glow and make it that color. So what color is this? This is on 4. So let's move that into the middle. Not bad. I mean, kind of doesn't really stand out that much. Maybe this one I'll go full black and a bit of opacity. Might have to do that. So this is on a group 1. So let's add that to a group 1. That's not too bad. We can manage with that. And then we can put it on here as well. So if I select the bit saw, and that's on group 7. So I can select this. 7. And that's a nice glow, which adds a little bit of depth. Otherwise you're not going to be able to see it. It's not really seeable, is it? It scared it up. That's a bit better. You can kind of still see the depth on the top one. Yeah, it's doesn't look the best though. Still at 1.5. Yeah, we'll leave it like that. So now that's the glow layer. Now this is the actual decoration layer. So do I want any decoration on this spike? Yes, I do. So let's go in and let's see what decoration I can put. I can do. So let's have a look. It's not bad. I mean, right, here we go. So what I want to add, maybe like this. Nah, I think that's a bit too much. What about this? Let's do that, and then let's move it down a bit. Mm, doesn't look the best. Too big. Way too big. Way too big. Let's go for this one. That's not bad. But I want to add that to this, maybe. So let's do copy color. Actually, what color do I want to copy? maybe do a bit of copy color 5. And when the hue's fine, but the brightness and saturation maybe. And the opacity. Do 0.35. Yeah, I don't think I like that. Doesn't look that good. Maybe I think I'll just lay off that sort of decoration. I think I'll stick with this sort of simplistic design, because this does look pretty cool. I need to go and turn off keybinds. Let's speed hack and auto speed. Like that, there we go. And then there we go. Let's bring this up. Let's come up. And come in. There we go. And then can we do any design any effects? Okay, so what we can try do is if I come into this and get a guide up here, like up above the level, this is going to be the UI. Let's do 8, and then what we can do is I can come in here, I can get this, so let's fill this in, and let's select it all, let's do a new group, 9, let's bring it over, there we go, so that's all on group 9, but now, this half, hmm, maybe over a bit to the left, oh that's like half, so let's do that as 10, let's remove the 8, let's do that as 11, and then here, we can add that to 8, let's do the UI, let's do this, 8, that's the UI target, and then the UI is going to all be 9 to center and center, so that's the opposite, that's not that bad, so that fills the entire screen, so what we can do here is, let's do a move here for 9, 10 actually, and then move X minus 50. That's not bad. And then we want this to move instantly, so move 80. What about 90? Let's see what 90 looks like. Do 100. Perfect. And then here, we can do 11, and then positive 100. And then once I do this, I can do this on a move time of 10. Let's move 50. 10. Let's move negative 50 for 11. So let's see how that looks. Oh, bad. So let's move this one here as 90. Got a bit of a problem solving to get this working. So now we've got this coming in, and it's a bit like a drop here in a way, and it will end there. So that's not bad. So now we can select both of these, we can bring it down to 5 seconds. Yeah, so what we'll do is this one here, 30. Negative 30. So let's check it out. That's not bad. How far will that come? There. So that's very good. And I can work with a drop over there. And then there's this is most likely gonna be a demon. And that's the opening bit. Got a bit starting there. And then should we change up the colour? And like, let's go into edit and select all of this, including this, including this is a movement, so we need all of this, all of this, and all of this duplicated, and then flip horizontal. Let's bring it up a bit. Let's do that. Nothing to appear at the bottom. Let's do that. Let's delete this. And then now it's time for a different design. So let's do a fit line. Actually, it's not really a different design. It's like standard in a way. Let's do like that. So let's do that. Set the corner one. Like that. And then let's select all of this. And choose 6. And then what it does, this actually is going to look different in a minute. So now if I do that, and fill in the gaps, and then the glow. Let's delete this one. Let's bring it up. So now what we need is the corner. Bring it in like that. Very, very nice. And most likely I'll be able to see the entire thing. So if I bring this up, make sure all of this is selected and turned off a group, because that is not supposed to move. It's only because I've got the shadows from something that does move. Is that possible? No, it's not possible. That's only because I did it down there though. That's fine. Let's make all of this. Let's actually get rid of all of this down here. And let's see how that changes everything. So here, we now need to get rid of group. This is actually going too far. So if I do that, do flip. There we go. So now, this is not on a group, but it was. So it's this one here, upside down. So it's this. This is group 2, and this is group 1. This is group 12, and this is group 13. 12, 13. Very, very nice. But 13, 12. Just I need to select the entire thing, because I only selected one bit. And that's possible. But that is now going to need to be fixed as well. That's on 3 and 7. So I select all of that. So I'm going to select all of this and get rid of the groups. Move it down by half. I'm going to select all of this, move the groups, bring it up by half. And this is also going off a group. So now let's see, is this possible? So now, I'm going to delete that, put it in place of one of these. Very nice. So that's actually now moving the wrong way. I'm gonna select this and this, and then get rid of all their groups. Let's see if this is possible, because I need to make sure all of my levels are possible. Okay, let's bring this there, because I find that it's actually easier to perform that sort of thing like that. And that's a good start. So what we can do when this is touched is I can go in here, I can go up, and I can change color ID 6 from red to blue. So what's the background here? That's a group 3. So I'm going to go up there, change that to dark blue. Let's have a look. So 0.25. Very, very nice. And then it's going to go over there. So this is the darker one. Group 3 is the darker one. Right, there we go. Looks nice. And then if I keep going after that, it will change to green, which is the RGB colours in the neon travel level. And then I need to make that gap a bit smaller though. And now that comes through. And then we've got the drop. And the drop is going to be kinda crazy. So it goes from red to blue to green. I like that. And then in the next video I'm going to expand this out to be different gameplay in a way. Don't know what I'm going to do though. I'm probably going to make this another ship section, but slightly different. And still, I'm probably going to make this a bit more open. This is on group 13, and this is on group 12. Group 12, so the 12th one needs to go down and left. Minus 20, minus 8, 8 and 20. That is. That's all I had to do to make that actually not that tight. Yeah, that's all I had to do. I think I'm going to make that slightly tighter though. Maybe let's do 10 and 4. Oh, didn't mean to take the screenshot there. And then 10 and 4. So it's going to half the distance that this one here is going. That's not that bad. It's pretty good. I'm quite proud of this so far. So currently here, we've got that. And then we've got red and stuff. Got blue. And we've got green. Not bad. And I think I'm gonna flip between the RGB colours as I go along the level, and then just gonna do actually I'm not gonna worry about that. So that is, let's have a look and see what else I can do in the effects section. What about shockwave? Did that. No, I don't want a shockwave, I want a shock line. But I want that to be a lot lighter. So thickness is going to be halved. Let's see how that works out. And then it's going to do it again there. And then direction. Is there any way I can change which direction it goes? Yeah, I can. So this is the one going that way. Because this change in Portal here is so quick, I'm actually not going to have another one at this one here. But I am going to have one at the one after. And I actually get past this. So that's the first shockwave. Not one here, and there is one there. Do I need to do that earlier? Look, it's not appearing very responsive. Try it like that. Yeah, there we go. So that's pretty good. I like that. And then of course we've got this up here. And then what I can do is on this. I don't know how to use sequences though, so what we can do is. Hmm, what split screen? Don't know, not gonna worry about that. Bulge. Yeah, that's a very big effect. Not gonna worry about that either. Oh! Invert color actually works a lot better than this. If I select these two, can I disable this at all? No. Okay. What if I move? Because it's in place at the shock line, so I can do is invert color instead. It'll go to that. That looks pretty cool. And then what I can do now, and it changes. That's pretty cool. I love that. So get rid of this, and then do another one of these invert colors. And I can change this. Maybe I can do a color change as well. Mm. and then I'll leave that like that, and I can have the color changes going on from there. So this is the intro, and it's gonna go like that, and that's pretty cool. Except those are probably gonna be black anyway. Object color, and then that's the color of the object color. So if I select all of this, set that to 14, but completely black. Does that still invert? Yeah, it still inverts. I can invert color again over here to be back to normal, but blue. No, I'll leave it like that. And that's actually pretty cool. So I can leave that as a inverted color, and then in the next video I can change this again to be uninverted, so revert it back, and then the drop will be quite a long, lengthy drop, and this will go on to the end of the song. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then let me know what I can do to improve this series. If you want to see this see in episode 2 of this, then let me know. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.